Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So today is BookList Thursday, and BookList Thursday is something I do every Thursday with my friend Sarah over at Sarah's Nightstand. And for bonus, the month of December, Krista from Books and Jams is also going to join us for BookList Thursdays, which I'm super excited about. Totally forgot to mention it last week though. So she does have a BookList Thursday up for last week, which we talked about. Don't judge this book by its cover. You need to check it out. She's got some awesome books in there. But she's also joining us the rest of the month. So BookList Thursday is something I do with them. We come to you every Thursday with some sort of book thoughts, ideas, recommendations, something bookish related. Now before I get into today's topic, I do have to explain my kids are home. They are apparently building a Christmas village out of Legos and watching Home Alone in the basement. So we'll see how long that lasts, pretty much, right? So, all right, so for this one is our 5-star predictions follow-up. So back in, I believe it was August, Sarah and I picked 6 books that we thought were gonna be 5-star reads for us. And the kind of theme for this 5-star prediction was we picked them from our Advent book exchange from last year that we did. Myself, Sarah, and then Lisa from Books and Smiles all did an Advent book exchange. Check those videos out from last year, and then I got 6 books read from that, so I'm pretty excited about that. So it's actually quite timely because Krista, myself, and Sarah are doing the 12 books of Christmas gift exchange right now. So that's coming every Tuesdays, the month of December. So I'm really excited we decided to pick and focus on some of those books we got last year because we're getting a whole bunch of new books this year. So I'm really hoping we do this again because yeah, we need to do it again. The other little tidbit I have to tell you is that I made an executive decision to change out one of my books from my original video. So in that video, I originally said I was going to read Little Monsters, and I did not. I picked a different book that Lisa sent me based on some other information that I gathered about it. I kind of had a feeling I was going to like it a little bit better than the one I had chosen. So I'll let you know which one it is. I think that's everything, right? I think so. Okay, so let's get started. These are not in the order I read them, but they're divided up between the books I picked between the books I picked from Lisa and the books that I picked that were given to me from Sarah. So the first ones were, we'll just go in order. We'll go from Lisa first. First one I read from her was The Secret Wife by Gil Paul. This has dual time perspectives, which hello, I love, plus historical fiction, which again, hello, I love, and it's centered around the Romanov family, which hello, I love. So definitely an easy pick for a 5-star prediction. So this follows kind of the story of the Romanovs at the end of 1914 and kind of what happened to them, as well as an additional character to that story named Dmitri. And we're really focusing on Tatiana, not Anastasia. So we're focused on Tatiana. And then we have 2016 where Kitty Fisher goes through some issues. She's getting a divorce basically. So she retreats to her great-grandfather's cabin and makes a bit of a revelation that there's some sort of connection to a family secret, obviously connected to what's happening in 1914. So I really, really enjoyed this book. I did give it 4 stars and not 5 because there were parts that were a little slow for me, but overall a fantastic read. Definitely. Just because I gave it 4 stars does not mean don't pick this up. Definitely pick this up. It was very, very good. And an introduction to Gil Paul, which is like, I would definitely read that author again. So the other book I picked off of Lisa's pile was The Night Sister by Jennifer McMahon. I have been meaning to read Jennifer McMahon for a while, and I'm so glad this gave me the push to do it because I think I might have found a new author that I'm in love with. So I do have The Winter Sister, or The Winter People, ready to go. I need to read that obviously this winter because I loved this book. This was so spooky. This gave me the creeps. I was reading it at night and I literally gave it to Matt to put on the other side of the room because it was just creeping me out that much. It was fabulous. So this has actually kind of 3 timelines we're following. The 1950s and the Tower Motel. It had just opened. It was this really, really amazing place that people were going. And we had 2 sisters that were living at that time in the Tower Motel, and something happens. Then we have the 1980s, and we have another set of sisters and a friend, Amy, Amy lives at the Tower Motel. It was her grandparents' motel. And it's no longer open. It's kind of falling apart, and those 3 discover some sort of, they figured out something happened in the 1950s. And then you have present day with the two sisters and Amy, and kind of revisiting what they discovered in the 80s that ties back to the 50s. It sounds confusing, but trust me, Jennifer McMahon does an amazing job. You know what's happening, you know where you're going, you know what characters you're part of. It's very easy to follow, even though the explanation is a little bit tricky. But it's all kinds of creepy and suspenseful and mysterious, all wrapped up into this beautiful book, and it was definitely 5 stars. And then the last book that I read from Lisa, I was supposed to read this one, and I replaced it with My Absolute Darling by Gabrielle Talent. So this follows the story of Turtle. She's a 14-year-old teenager growing up in a not so great situation. Her mother passed away, and she's living with her father, who is beyond your imagination abusive. So she finds solace in retreating to the woods. They live in Oregon, so she goes kind of off on her own. She definitely has been taught some pretty awesome survival skills. She's a pretty kick-ass kid, basically. And she meets a couple of boys who become friends of hers, and kind of realizes that she needs to do something. She needs to do something to change the situation she's in. So I can't believe I love this book as much as I do. I give it 5 stars. It was disturbing, hard to read, yet done really, really well. I really liked it. So if you're ready for a thinker, for something that's going to not be the easiest to read, but you're gonna love it, pick this one up. All right, so then I have the books from Sarah that she sent me. So the first one I got to was Seabiscuit by Laura Hillenbrand. Laura Hillenbrand wrote Unbroken, the story of Louis Zamperini, which I loved. And so very intrigued to pick this up, and kind of thinking, well, you know, similar type of nonfiction book, same author, should be fantastic, and it was. I never knew so much went into horse racing. The risks these people take, the complicated training and work that's involved. And I kept having to kind of remind myself that this wasn't present day. Like, this was in 1938. Like, what? So really, really great. I listened to this book. There were a few parts that were a little slow, so I'm giving it a 4 stars, but it's definitely still very interesting and worth the read. Then I went with kind of, I feel like I cheated a little bit, because I picked up one of my favorite authors and read That Night by Chevy Stevens. And this is not That Night, this is Those Girls. What did I do with That Night? It has a leaf on the cover. I don't know. We're gonna just roll with it. So I picked up That Night by Chevy Stevens. And this follows, we have dual time perspectives. It's very, in parts it's suspenseful, but very more like mysterious and more a little psychological. But follows our main character, who is just getting out of prison, where she was convicted of killing her sister. And she is determined to prove to the people that she did not do it. And it's Chevy Stevens. And so there's crazy stuff that happens, and things that you can't believe are happening, and turns and twists, and oh, it was fantastic. Definitely gave that 5 stars. And the last one I picked up from Sarah is Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. This follows, or this takes place in the 1850s during the gold rush to California. We have our main character, Angel, who is working in a brothel, and we have our other main character, Michael, who is a very religious man. He went out there kind of with his brother and his sister-in-law to kind of relocate to California. Not necessarily going for gold, but just looking for new opportunity. And meets Angel and is basically told by God that he is to marry her. And he does. And he takes her out of the life she was living, and she's not all that for it. I did end up giving this 4 stars. I was in the midst of a really bad reading slump when I was reading this book, and it took me almost a month to finish it, which it should not. It is a great book. I just continue to find myself being distracted and I didn't want to read anything. I gave it 4 stars because I was a little frustrated with a character at one point, and there's a little slow at times. Definitely shouldn't have taken me as long as it did. I just was in a really bad reading slump. I still am in a really bad reading slump, guys. I haven't read in like weeks. It's not good. I'll get out of it though, don't worry. But 4 stars, definitely still a wonderful book to read. I want to check out more Francine Rivers and see what else she has. But can we like do something about this cover and something a little better? Just a thought. So those are the 6 books that I predicted I would give 5 stars to. Out of the 6, 3 of them got 5 stars, 3 of them got 4 stars. So I would say that's a fairly successful reading, nothing under 4, which means kind of how I rate books. And maybe I should do a video sometime on my logic behind how I rate books, but 4s and 5 stars are definitely books you need to go and read for sure. So I think that's about it. Come back next week because we're going to do our next round of 5-star predictions. We do have another theme chosen for it. I'm not going to spoil it and tell you what it is right now, but come back next week and check that out. Otherwise, go over to Sarah's channel and see how she did with her 5-star predictions, and check out Krista as well of our books and jams. I'll leave links below. See what she has. Otherwise, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time.